brilliant. Okay, so let's make a start. Oh, and you might need a strap when we come to do our peak pose. You might need one, you might not. I'm going to give you lots of options to get into it, so don't worry. Get the goggles. So we're going to start seated. So just come to a comfortable seat, just for a moment while we settle. So in this comfortable seat, you can have your legs out in front of you or your legs crossed, whatever feels good. So as we come into this seated position, just rest your hands, excuse me, on your knees or on your thighs, and just take a moment and just first of all lean forward so you find the front of your sit bones, keeping your spine nice and long, and then lean back and find the back of the sit bones, and just do that a couple of times. And it's quite interesting just to do this. We do this quite often with our pelvis when we lie on the floor and we're finding the neutral position for the spine, but we don't do it with our sit bones. I thought this was quite a nice way to find neutral. So you do it a few times and then sit somewhere in the middle, your neutral position. So let the shoulders relax, find that upright spine. And we're just going to focus on our breath here, just for a few moments. So close your eyes and just take a few breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Just allowing that exhalation to relax the body. So when we keep our focus on the breath like this, it helps to keep our nervous system relaxed. It tells it that everything is okay. So that's most important, of most importance when you come to do your asanas, particularly if you're doing something that you think is a little bit tricky, or you think, oh, I don't know, my hip's not going to like this bit this morning. So make sure that you keep your breath going and keep that focus on the nervous system, keeping it relaxed. If you send a message of panic to the nervous system, then your body's not going to move the way that you want it. So there's quite a lot in this breathing malarkey with yoga. Okay, so after your next exhalation, just drop your chin towards your chest and lift your head, opening your eyes. Well done, welcome to class. So let's move into an all fours position. I'm joined by the little one by here. Okay, so in all fours position, from this all fours, spread your hands wide on the mat, have your knees underneath your hips to start with, and then toes into the mat, so strong feet. And then take a breath in and draw your right knee up towards your chest, and then place it down just behind your right wrist. And then slide this left leg back. So it's a little bit like when we get into pigeon. So just go back a little bit. So what we're going to do is work into our hips here. So you're going to lean forward as you're making a circular movement and then leaning back. So you can start to feel that you're opening up the hip flexors at the front here on this right leg particularly, and also the left leg that's extended behind. So just make a few circles, at least 3, and then change the direction. So just leaning forward and back and starting to warm up that hip. And these sorts of mobilizations in the morning give us a bit of an indication as to how the body is feeling. So once you've done 3 on the other on that side, we're just going to reposition that back knee, step the right knee back, and do the same on the other side. So breathing in, draw the left knee up, breathe out, place it behind your left hand. So the right toes are strong and into the mats, the left toes are just resting down, and just do that circular movement. So go as far into this as feels good. If you want to just take it slow and easy, that's okay too. Just starting to warm up a bit, and your shoulders are getting involved here as well. So 3 in that direction, and then 3 in the other. So we've gone straight into mobilizing the body, and sometimes when you do this at the start of the practice, you think, oh, I don't know, I don't feel very flexible this morning, but this will really help us, particularly when we come to do our peak pose. Okay, so we've done 3 on each side and in each direction on both legs. So step the left knee back, come back to all fours. And this time, we're going to get back to that same position. So bring the right knee up, place it behind the right hand, and take the right foot into the position as if you were going to do pigeon. So sweep the leg around to the side, just as far as it wants to go. Don't overdo it. And step in the left leg back and do our circular movements here as well. So really get in to that hip. So we're really starting to open up the hip now. This is an external rotation of that hip joint. So 3 that direction, 3 this direction. Might be finding some tight spots, some niggles. And then reposition the right foot, come back to all fours, swap to the other side. So breathing in, bring the left knee up behind the left foot, sweep the foot out to the long side of the mat, step the right leg back, circles. Getting in to that left hip now. 3, one direction, 3 in the other direction. Okay, reposition that left leg, come back to your all fours. So same movement again with the right knee, bring it up behind your right wrist. Only this time we're going to swing the leg out to the side like it's a bike stand. So you're sending it out there to the right and then stepping the left leg back. So this is an internal rotation of the hip. You can feel it turning in that way. And don't get so much movement of the hip in this position, but you can still have a little wiggle. And then the other side. Sorry, not the other side, in the other direction. So 3 on the right hip, going clockwise, then anti-clockwise. Then straighten up that foot, come back, swap. So the left knee comes up. Take the bike stand out. And then extend the right leg and do your 3 circles. Bring the shoulders and the chest into this as well. Change the direction. 3. That's it. And then realign the foot, come back to all fours. So remember what I said about the breath. So if when you get into any of these, you think, oh, this feels a bit tight, make sure you're breathing. So keep your all fours position, send your right leg out to the side. this time. So the right leg's going out, the foot is, can't quite see my foot here, the foot is pressing down into the mat with the toes forward. So send it out as much as you can, and then do that same movement, moving forwards and back. Just sitting the hip back towards the heel. And then after you've done 3, hold. So just hover and hold. And then come back up. Well done. So change legs. Take the left leg out to the side. Doing that movement forwards and back. A little bit like a circular movement, but it's mainly going forwards and back to try and sit back over the hips. And then the last one, hold. So you're hovering the hip. And then bring yourself back up. So the hips should be starting to feel a lot freer, but we're going to do all of that again, only a lot quicker, and concentrating on the same side for the 4 moves that we did. So back to all fours, bring the right knee up to the right wrist, send the left leg back, circles, 3 circles. And notice how much better this feels. And when we started doing it, 3 in the other direction, come back so that you're upright, sweep the left leg into that pigeon position. So the right leg comes up to, the right foot is coming up towards your left hand. Do that circle. And then the other way. Now get your bike stand, circle. So I hope you're all feeling that the hips are feeling a lot freer. And then straighten up that right knee, bring the left leg back in, and then slide the right leg out. And do this sitting back and forth, 3 of them. Look at us, we're going like double speed. And it's so much better this second time. And then the last time, sit and hold. And then come back up. So all that on the other side. So all fours. Take your right leg back. Left leg comes up towards the left wrist. The left foot is coming up towards your right wrist. Words out. And do the circle. So like the pigeon leg. And then the other way. And then sweep it out as the bike stand. So not only are your hips warmed up, hopefully the body's feeling a lot warmer too. So now straighten up that leg and send the left leg out to the side and do the forwards and back. All the joints are really well lubricated now. And then the last one, just sit and hold. And bring yourself back up. Wow. So is the body warmer as well as the hips? And maybe the breath is a little bit faster. So come back to your all fours position. Let's do 3 cat-cows here. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, drop the crown of the head towards the mat. Push the mat away. Arch the spine. Coming up into cat. Take a breath in. Breathing out. Lead in with the chin and the chest. As you tilt the spine, tilt the hips, gazing forward at the mat. Cow pose. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Breathe in, breathe out. Round the spine, cat pose. Breathe in, breathe out. Tilt the pelvis, lead of the chin and the chest. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Cow pose. Breathe in, breathe out. Cat pose. Breathe in, breathe out. Cow pose. Breathe in, come back to an all fours position. Just sit back onto your heels for a moment. You can have your toes in the mat so you can get a nice little toe stretch at the same time and just have a little bit of wrist relief. So just allow the hands to release. Turning the wrists in whatever direction feels good. Up and down and circles, and then maybe your shoulders too. Okay, let's come back to all fours. So on your next inhalation, step your right foot so that it comes up to the outside of your right hand, and we're keeping the left knee bent. Keep your toes into the mat, your left toes are strong. And then bend your right elbow, take a breath in. As you breathe out, try and touch the right elbow down towards the mat. Breathe in, release the hand up to the ceiling, gaze into that hand. Breathing out, elbow to the mat, just sinking down to the inside of that right leg and going further than we would have done without those exercises, and then opening out as you inhale. Breathing out. Elbow towards the mat. Breathing in. So with the hand reaching up and the left hand down onto the mat, take a breath in. Press the right foot into the mat as you lift the back knee. Come into this open position. Stacking the hands one on top of the other. Breathing in. Breathing out. Take your hand back to the mat. Place it on the outside of your foot this time. So we're just in this lunge position. So just hold here. In this lunge, trying to send the crown of your head out in front of you, sending those left toes back, lengthening the leg. Take a breath in here. And as you breathe out, press the hands into the mat. Just make a bit of space by lifting your hips a bit and step back into plank position. So you're holding your plank. Nice and strong across the shoulders, so lifting up and out of the wrists, out of the shoulders. Take a breath here. Breathe out, knees to the mat. Come back to all fours. So we're going to do all of that on the other side. So from this position, you can take a breath in. As you breathe out, step your left leg. So the left foot is just on the outside of your left hand. And then bend in the left elbow. Take a breath in. Back toes are strong on the mat, your right toes, that is. And then as you breathe in, breathe out, see if you can touch the elbow to the floor. Breathing in, opening the hand to the sky. Breathe out. Breathing in, reaching up. Breathing out. Elbow to the mat, we might nearly be there. Breathing in. Breathe out, elbow to the mat. And then breathe in, hold this last one. So just gazing up at the left hand. And then find that strength with your left foot, your right hand. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, straighten the right leg. So you're balancing here, gazing up at that left hand. Take a breath. And then as you breathe out, bring your hands back to the outside of your left foot, coming into this lunge position. Just lengthening through the spine. Lengthen through the spine into the lunge position. And then taking a breath in, make some space so that you can step back into plank. And hold your plank just for a breath or two. Nice and strong. Breathing in. Breathing out, knees to the mat. Take your knees wide, toes together, and sink back into extended child's. Just take a breath here. Allow the breath to settle. Resting your forehead down on the mat or on a block. Connect into your breath. And then slowly lifting your head. So gazing at where your hands are on the mat, keeping them quite wide, and just lift your hips up and realign your knees. So we're just going to do a little move here where we switch between a low cobra and an extended child's. So from extended child's, you're just going to slide the knees back, keep the feet quite wide on the mat. That's it. And then bend your elbows. So just be mindful of your lower back here. Don't come up too high if that's hard on the back. So just hovering here in cobra. And then just realign the legs. Bring the hands so that they're on either side of the chest. You need to lower the chest a little bit to do that. Toes into the mat. Bring yourself back up to plank. So nice, strong plank. Try not to sink in the middle where we were with cobra. So lift your hips up a little bit. And then take a breath. Knees to the mat, toes together. Extended child's. Just allowing the body to find a little bit of recovery. It's a good counter pose. And then as you breathe in, bring yourself back up to all fours. So hands are under shoulders, knees under hips, toes into the mat. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, lift your hips, come to downward facing dog. Have a little walk through the feet. So easing out, one, then the other. So you can have as much of a bend in your knees as you want. Doesn't matter if your legs aren't straight, if you can't get your heels to the mat. Just do what's right for you. So if you're trying to get into your full down dog, remember our excuse me, our ears are in line with the inner arms, and it's as if we're trying to place our bottom ribs on our thighs as we send the hips up to the ceiling. So taking a breath in here. Draw the right knee up to the chest. And as you breathe out, step the foot forward and through. So what we're going to do here, so you've got two options. We're going to move from bent leg to straight leg. So you can drop the knee, the back knee, to the mat and take a breath in. And as you breathe out, straighten the right leg and just send the hips back. Or if you want something a little bit stronger, keep the back leg straight and straighten the legs. So you're coming into pyramid pose. So just moving forward and back. Do at least 3 of these in whichever position you're in. And if you're deciding to have the back leg straight, but you find it hard to keep the hands on the floor, then you can either make these sort of claw shapes with your hands, but that can be quite strong. It's strong on the fingers, but it's easier on the wrists. Or if you've got some blocks or books, you can put those on either side of the foot as well. Okay, so next time you come forward, drop the back knee, it's not already there, and release the right knee back into all fours. So we're just going to do that same thing on the other side. So take a breath in, and as you breathe out, toes into the mat, lift your hips, come to downward facing dog. Just take a breath here. So this time we'll come up onto our toes as we breathe in, and as we breathe out, we'll swivel the feet to the left so that they're tracking one behind the other. And then breathing in, come back up on the toes, breathing out, swivel the feet towards the right. Breathing in, come back to center. Take a breath in, draw this left knee up to your chest, step it forward and through. So remember your options, your right knee can go down or you can stay up. And you're just going to move the hips forward and then move back into pyramid, dropping the nose to the knee. Forward and back. 3 or 4 times. That's it. Brilliant. Okay. So the next time you come forward, drop the back knee, release the left leg, take your knees wide, toes together, sink back, extended child's. Let's take a moment here. You can have a little wiggle with your hips from left to right and feel how loose your hips feel in this position after all that work. And then breathing in, bring yourself back up to an all fours position. And then walk your hands back so that you're up in this high kneel. And from the high kneel, let's take our hands and place them just at the lower back and towards the sacrum area. So sort of the heel of the hand is towards the bottom of your kidneys, and squeeze the elbows together. So we're just starting to open the front of the chest. So try and keep your tummy muscles engaged here. And then take a breath in. And as you breathe out, just lift the chest as you gaze up towards the ceiling. Not crunching the back of the neck, just lifting the chest, opening the chest. So it's nice to do that after all that work we were doing down on the floor. and then release forward. So just drop the chin, bring the elbows so that they're just dropping forward. And we'll just do that once more. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, draw the elbows towards each other, tummy muscles engaged, just lift the chest, look up towards the ceiling. Keep breathing, and then release. A little shrug of the shoulders. Take your hands down to the mat and tip back onto your toes so that you're in a squat position. Maybe your heels are on the mat, maybe not. Mine still don't reach there. So hands down onto the mat in front of you. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, press the hands into the mat and come up to a forward fold. Just walk the hands back a little bit towards the toes. And then slowly, slowly, slowly bring yourself up. Well done. So let your blood pressure settle. Just stand here in Tadasana until we're feeling really strong. And then we're going to go into our balance. Our Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. So you might want a strap, or if you're pretty good at this, or well, let's just try it without first, shall we? And then we'll see what we think. So Utthita in Sanskrit means extended, so upright. Hasta means hand, and then pada means foot, so that pada, the Padangusthasana, is foot. So this is actually extended hand to big toe, if we're being precise, or foot pose. Asana, obviously from the Padangusthasana, is the pose. So stand up straight and tall, have your feet just hip distance apart and ground them into the mat. And then grounding the left foot into the mat, just bring your right knee up towards your chest and just hug it in. Just see how you're feeling this morning with your balance. So keep your shoulders down. Keep your gaze on your drishti, your point of focus. And just see how you are this morning with the balance. So thinking about the sole of the left foot and plant it into the floor. And then keeping your gaze on your drishti, slide your right hand down towards your toes. Now your left hand can just stay on your hip or on your waist, or maybe you want to take it out to the side for a little bit of balance, or if you want to, you can put it and hold onto the wall or something close to you. So taking a breath in, we're going to extend this right leg as we breathe out. So the trick with this pose is, to show you it from the side, is it's easy to just round the back and do this and say, I've done it, I'm in the pose, but that's not doing anything for anybody because it's crunching up our stomach and all our internal organs. So it's far better, if that's what's happening to you, to either keep the leg a little bit bent, or, if you can't straighten and keep the back straight, then that's where the strap comes in. So you've got a strap, you can keep that nice straight spine. Or the other thing you can do, I'll show you on the top of my chair here, you can use a piece of furniture. So you can place your foot on that furniture and just practice getting into this position. So it will extend the hamstrings. And, I know we're not touching the foot here, but we're doing this. We're getting our chest upright and we're extending the hamstrings. So there's lots of ways, so everybody can do this pose, like I said in my blurb. So once you're in this position, and your left hand could be out to the side, if that's feeling good to you, see if you can start to open the leg to the side while still keeping the spine upright. Ooh. Do that properly. Well done. And then release. Come back to Tadasana. Shrug your shoulders. Have a little bend of the knees. Do whatever feels good. A little wiggle. Just ease that out before we try the other side. And notice when you're trying the other side, how different that can be. So we're not symmetrical. So stand up, straight and tall. Plant the right foot into the floor. Find your drishti as you bend the left knee, hug it in towards you. And then let's get hold of the foot, pada, with the hand, hasta. And then start to extend it out, keeping the straight spine. Right hand can be wherever is good for you. And then start to open that leg out to the side. And it might be too much, oops, watch Jill. It might be too much to think about this, but when you're stable, you can slowly turn and look at the thumb on your extended hand. Release when you're ready. Oh, well done, everyone. So hopefully all that work we did at the beginning with the legs and the hips helped us to get into that pose. So come back to your mat, standing in Tadasana. We're going to come down to the mat now. So take a breath in. And as you breathe out, have your feet wider than hip distance apart, I should have said. We're going to sink down into Malasana, into squat. So hands to the heart center. And as you breathe out, just sinking down into your squat. And then releasing the hands in front of you and gently and elegantly release the legs. Well done. Okay, so come down to your mat into semi-supine. Bend your knees. Just have your hands alongside your body. Just resting the shoulders back. Palms can face up. Stay here for a moment, feeling the length of the spine out along the mat, releasing the lower back. So finding that neutral position with your spine, just like we were finding neutral with our sit bones. And then on your next inhalation, draw the knees up and over the chest and wrap your hands around your lower legs. Have a little roll left and right. In Apanasana, just easing out the shoulders and the spine. And make some circular movements if you'd like to. Massages the sacrum area. And then slide your hands through your legs and catch hold of either the outside of your feet or your big toes. So coming into happy baby. So when we're doing happy baby, it's tempting to lift the hips up and away from the mat, whereas what we should be doing is keeping that length of the spine out along the floor. So still imagine that you're sending these hips out. Imagine I'm there and I'm pushing on the backs of your hips to keep them down. So your hands are on the inside of your legs. Drop those knees towards your armpits and have the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. So happy baby, little rock from side to side to just easing out. All your work's done. And then slowly release the hands and let the feet slide out along the mat and start to set yourself up for Shavasana. So lying out on the mat, have your hands alongside your body in a gentle V, palms facing up. Have your feet slightly wider than hip distance apart. And let the toes drop out to the side. And with each out breath, just allow yourself to sink a little deeper into the mat. So at the beginning, when I was saying about the breath and how the breath helps us to relax, particularly the exhalation, and tunes us into our nervous system, tells our nervous system that there's nothing going on there that we need to worry about. So we're taking that focus inwards. And this is a good time to try and do that when you're coming into your relaxation in Shavasana. So one of the 8 limbs of yoga, pratyahara, is releasing this letting go of the senses, pratyahara, so taking the focus inwards. So lying out on your mat, just breathing, nice deep breaths in, and with each breath out, relax into the mat. Letting go of any tension. I'm going to leave you in your Shavasana in a moment. I just got a nice little quote that I think helps us to maintain our focus throughout our day and sets us up really for the day. And it comes from Carl Jung. And he says, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." And namaste. See you all next week. Stay there as long as you want to.